never goes away. I feel the love.
Welcome to a new vlog. I am still under a bad hangover from the last book, but let's start the book for this week. Tuesday morning, I am reading this. I already read a few pages back in the train, and I'm going to have my coffee with some cookies and yep. It has seriously been a couple of days since I'm trying to read this book, Lessons in Chemistry, and it is good. I have to say this, it is just so refreshing to be reading this book after what happened with me in the last book, but just 80 pages done. It's just it is a lot of words in this book, and somehow I am still coping up with what happened to me in the third book. I did not like it. Third book of the year, I mean. So this is the fourth book of the year, Lessons in Chemistry. And this is good. But am I in the mindset to read a good book? I doubt that. Every single reading vlog of mine this year is planned in a certain way. I do the reading vlog and then there's a book review. And one thing I'm definitely saying in this book review is that this book is so funny. There is Calvin and there is Elizabeth, and we are sort of reading their romance. It's just going back in time. So the book starts in 1960s and then goes back to 1950s when Calvin and Elizabeth were a thing. How they met, how the romance brewed and everything like that. And Calvin is one chemist, one scientist who is known to hold grudges. Everybody at his workplace is afraid of him because they know he holds a grudge. So this one day, Elizabeth and Calvin, you see that they are in love, they have moved in together and all of that stuff. And Elizabeth asks Calvin, hey, everybody says you hold grudges, and what is it about? And he's no. She's can you think of anybody you would hold a grudge for, tell me. And he's none I can think of. And then he's what about you? You also hold grudges. So do you have anybody in mind you hold grudges for? And she starts counting. And it's just Elizabeth, I love you. And it's just so funny. The way the delivery is in every single thing in this book so far in the first 80 to 90 pages is just epic. Awesome. I haven't made any progress on my book so far. I shouldn't be going to a bookstore. But अब तो जाना ही है. Deep conversations with my husband about writing these days. It started off from why there are mostly women in the NY Times bestseller list. I'm no, that wasn't the case. It's just that it was dominated by men for a long time, and at least from what I think I know. And now it's just the TikTok era. So Colleen Hoover, she has been on the top 3 spots for so long. I mean, nobody has a chance to do anything there. And also I feel nowadays if you have to just make your book sell, you just have to add a lot of intimate scenes. I'm trying not to use the 3-letter word here, but yeah, add a lot of that and make it look bad, make it look emotionless, mostly more about physical stuff, and it will work. The book will just sell. That's how it is. There's no points for great writing, there's no points for great story here. It's just that, add in more problematic stuff, you will have a spot on the NY Times bestsellers list for a longer time. So it's just that.
Or Gen Z stuff.
It's not even Gen Z I think would hate, who would problematic stuff like that? There's so much of problems in the 3 books I have read of Colleen Hoover. I mean I have liked them, at least one of them I really liked, but it's just it feels people now just cannot appreciate good content. Most people who will grow up reading these books and hearing about these books would not even know how to see what a good book is, would not even learn to appreciate the good stuff, because this is the stuff they think is good because this is what everybody's been reading. We are not even looking looking at this section like, guys, it's all Colleen Hoover. I can't take it anymore, please. No. This is final now. I'm just gonna grab a few books now and then not step into a bookstore for another 4 to 5 weeks until I have finished all these books. Which are those? First, I am getting this for my next week read. This is the latest James Patterson book, and I have never read James Patterson, so I'm thinking, let's try this one. It's a thriller, and yeah. And then last week we made a mistake. We actually got like Six of Crows, but apparently you need to read this ideally if you want to read Six of Crows. So I am picking this up, $40 for this whole set of the Shadow and Bone trilogy, and that also means I am good for 5 weeks now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I have Six of Crows, and the next book then we'll get after 5 weeks. So keep watching me until 5 weeks, okay? One vlog every week, every Saturday. There's this show producer, Walter, and he is like to Elizabeth, like, you know what, we need this show, we both need this job, so, can you please this one time, she never listens, can you please this one time like advertise this soup can? And this is what happens. Hello viewers, Elizabeth said 3 hours later, and welcome back. See this? She held a soup can close to the camera. It's a real time saver. From his producer's chair, Walter gasped in gratitude. She was using the soup! That's because it's full of chemicals, she said, tossing it with a clunk into a nearby garbage can. Feed enough of it to your loved ones and they'll eventually die off, saving you tons of time since you won't have to feed them anymore. The cameraman turned to look at Walter, confused. Walter glanced down at his watch as if he had forgotten an important appointment, then caught up and walked out, making his way directly to the parking lot where he got in his car and drove off. This book is so funny, like so serious and so funny. I'm just gonna cry. So good. And आगे भी है guys. There's more to read and laugh at. I think I just read 200 plus pages in a day. But it was so easy because this book was so good. Finally finished reading it. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This is funny, there's feminism in it, there's struggle, there is lots of inspiration, and the writing is just wow. The main character is Elizabeth Zott, who is a chemist in 1950s. This is that time when, women are expected to be secretaries, not scientists. And Elizabeth Zott is just brilliant, intelligent, unwavering, and beautiful. And she gets famous when she becomes the host of an afternoon cooking show. There is Calvin Evans, who is Elizabeth's love interest. There is 6:30, who is Elizabeth's dog. And oh my god, this dog has his own thoughts and is like a real character in the book, which is just so amazing. Just had to mention it once again. The book has a dog and he doesn't die. Just so you know, at least in this story, okay? There is Harriet, who is Elizabeth's neighbor, and then there are many other characters that are there in the book, but each of these characters, oh my god, well done, amazing. So basically, when the story begins, in 1960s, Elizabeth is a single mother to Mad, who is her daughter, and she is just struggling financially. And then you go back in time in 1950s, how Elizabeth became a single mother, basically how she met Calvin and everything like that. Elizabeth Zott has had a tough life. She has always been undermined as being a scientist, as being a female chemist, and she is always unrecognized. Her work has been stolen. She is consistently questioned and undermined about that. She was also sexually assaulted. Just a trigger warning there. Not the whole book is about that, but just so you know. And she has gone through financial troubles. She has lost the love of her life. So many things have happened to her, yet Elizabeth is this inspiring, amazing character. You will be inspired at how blindsided her vision is in terms of what she wants in her life, how she wants her life to be, and she just goes for it. She's just so amazing and awe-inspiring. You just wish you had the strength of Elizabeth. And Calvin, I don't want to talk more about Calvin, but I wish I could if it was just not being a big spoiler, because when I went into the book I wasn't expecting the story will go this way. I was expecting something different, judging from what was written over here, like how she's a single mother now and all that. So not much said about Calvin, but Calvin, I love you. You are an amazing character. And then there's Walter Pine. Okay, this is the TV producer who actually gets Elizabeth this job where she is hosting a cooking show. Okay, and oh my god, like this book, I have laughed so much with it, and there has been times when I'm like reading flap, and then I'm just like reciting the whole story to my husband because this is just so epic, so amazing, so funny. If you're looking for a contemporary fiction that makes you laugh multiple times, this is that book for you. And I love the fact how Elizabeth actually learns from her mistakes, you know. She does have that blindsided vision. She is like that weird, like, I am a chemist, I am a scientist person. She's always fighting it out, but at the same time, she's learning from her mistakes. Like, her work is stolen, okay? The person from the institute, this guy has stolen her work, has misguided her about how important her work is to the institute, and you know that happens. But when she is doing this TV show, she actually takes out the time to look at the numbers. Like, she learns that she should not believe a man in terms of how good her work is as a woman, because that is the world she lives in. So this time she learns from the previous mistake and she goes and actually looks at the numbers, how popular her show is and everything like that. So that is something, you know, very inspiring. And even the first time she's sexually assaulted, it just hits you hard, okay? That's why I give the trigger warning, because, you know, that just comes out of blue. A lot of people might not expect it, especially from a book like this. So it comes and it just is a little disturbing, and it just is like heartbreaking what happens to her. But at the same time, the next time she is in a situation like that, and oh my god, you have to read that scene where she brings out her 14-inch knife. Oh my god, you're like, oh my god, I did not see that coming. You know what happens? This book is so amazing. It's too good. I would definitely give this book 4.8 out of 5 stars. It's a must read. Totally worth its spot in the NY Times bestseller, and just the voice, just the character, and I have to talk about the author, the writing. Oh my god, like this is the kind of writing you read books for. This is why we all started reading books. I wish that was true, but you know, in my world where everything is perfect, this is true. This is the kind of writing that people read books for. So just read this book for sure, okay? And yes, that is what I think about this. It was a brilliant week reading this book, and I'm just so happy and so grateful to this book and the author for creating such an awesome piece of content. This reading vlog, that's it. This is Manvi signing off. I'll be back with another reading vlog very soon. Do keep in mind I have a free newsletter where I talk about more of my favorite books from the past, and a lot of like lists that I plan to do, that I am doing. There's even a giveaway in the previous week's newsletter. So just like subscribe. It's free, okay? You just get one email a week, and just subscribe to my newsletter for more content. Thank you so much for watching. This is Manvi signing off. I'll be back with another video very soon. I hope I haven't said that before. I'm just like so crazy about this book. I just have to keep talking.